This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm delighted to be joined by David Diamante in London. David, it's fight week, it's Joshua-Usyk fight week. How excited are you for the big one on Saturday night?
I feel like a little kid, man. I'm really excited, really excited. You know, I think I might be the biggest fan out there. I can't wait for this fight.
We haven't had a stage like this for a boxing event since the pre-pandemic. Coming over in your position, emceeing on these shows, how excited are you to be able to deliver one of the biggest cards on Saturday night?
Oh, I mean, it's a dream, you know, it's a dream. I mean, we did Canelo in front of 73,000. We're going to have very close to that on Saturday at Tottenham. What a stadium. We were there today for the presser. It's just an amazing night. What an event. It's more than a fight, it's an event.
Being close to these guys, David, in your position, what's been your thoughts on a lot about the weight talk? So people thinking AJ's looking lean. Usyk seems to have put on a bit of weight, obviously coming into his third fight at heavyweight now. What's your take on it? Do you see that AJ is maybe a bit leaner and Usyk has put on some weight?
I think we're going to see tomorrow when they hit the scales. But I think both guys are in top form. I think both guys know what's at stake. I think we've got two freight trains coming head to head. I think both guys fancy this fight. I think both guys are very confident they're going to win. This is what makes a great fight.
What are your thoughts on it, David? From your perspective, how do you expect the fight to play out? Because as we've drawn closer, a lot of people are making it an even closer fight than what it was originally and when the fight was announced.
You know, I'd prefer not to say who I think is going to win, but I think it's a dangerous fight for both men. And I think at heavyweight boxing, whoever makes the first mistake and the mistakes thereafter is going to pay a price. It's a very dangerous fight for both men. I think it's a hell of a fight.
In Anthony's case, if he was to be successful, where do you think this win would rank in his career so far? Would this be the best name on his resume?
I think he's got a lot of big names on his CV. I think Klitschko is a big one. I think there's been a lot of big ones. But it's up there. Usyk's a formidable opponent. It's a very dangerous fight. Undisputed cruiserweight champion. We've seen people do that before, obviously. Holyfield. You know, but Usyk's not Holyfield. He's a different fighter. All fighters are different, but he is definitely chasing glory. You have to take your hat off to both men for taking this fight.
David, do you believe in omens, and are you somebody who does believe in stuff like that? Not omens, so for example, what I'm going to say, I've forgotten the word I'm looking for. Are you superstitious? That's the one. Are you a superstitious man?
Well, it depends in what way.
My question was going to be, when AJ boxed Ruiz, Callum Smith was on the undercard and he won with a stoppage victory. Heading out here now, Callum Smith's on the undercard. Would you be superstitious if you were in AJ's shoes?
For Callum Smith, no, not.
For Callum Smith boxing, obviously we know what happened in New York with AJ Ruiz.
No, I think looking too much into it. Although I'm excited to see Callum Smith at 175, and I had him on the Matchroom Radio podcast yesterday, and it was great to talk to him. It's great to see him back after the Canelo fight, and we'll see what he can do. Lenin Castillo is a good fighter, so that should be interesting.
Domestically, I've put this to a few people. There's some brilliant names at light heavyweight. You've obviously got Joshua-Usyk, Anthony Yard, Lyndon Arthur, amongst others. Callum, previous number one at 168. Do you think it's very much just have the Castillo fight maybe one more beneath world level before challenging for world honours? Or would you like to see him face a Buatsi or an Anthony Yard or somebody like that if the opportunity presented itself?
I think that's up for him and Buddy McGirt to figure out where they are, and we'll see what, you know, he's got to get past Lenin Castillo first of all. But if he can do that, I think, you know, he's ready for really anyone there. He's been a top fighter for many years. He's been in a lot of massive stages. He won the World Boxing Super Series. So he's been in a lot of big fights, and I think he's a hell of a fighter. I think he's ready for anyone. I mean, but that's not for me to decide. That's for him and his team.
Just something I forgot to ask you about Anthony Joshua as well. His fight being 2 weeks before Fury Wilder 3. Do you think he's going to be looking to make a statement, because he will want the winner of that? He will want the undisputed fight if he's successful against Usyk himself. Do you think he's looking at that thinking, I want to show these guys, let's get it on, and he wants to put them on alert?
Well, I think, you know, that might be a small thing in his head. I think his thing is to win, right? No matter what. He's got to get past Usyk. I think, you know, he might be thinking about the Tyson Fury fight, but I think right now he knows the task at hand. I think he's laser focused on Usyk, He's been in these massive fights before, so this is not new to him. You know, like he said today, he was trying to play it off that this is what he does. But it's what he does. And at this point, you know, here in the UK, he's the face of boxing. He's a massive superstar here, and he's got a really tough fight ahead of him. But there's no doubt he's a unified champ. But to be the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, that's what all of us want to see. Hopefully, we get to see it, you know, if it happens. But again, you know, Fury's got to get past Deontay Wilder.
I do want to come on to that and come on to some other fights which have recently been announced, but just to stick with it, Fury Wilder 3, only 2 weeks away from Saturday. What is your take on this bout this time around?
Well, you know, again, I think all fights are different. I think, like we saw, fight 2 was very different than the first one, and I think the third one's going to be different also. It's going to be very interesting to see what the work that Deontay Wilder's done to make the adjustments that he needs to face a guy like Tyson Fury, because he's a really tough opponent.
Another fight which has been recently announced, Dillian Whyte and Whyte-Wallin, is one which came out of the blue. A lot of people expected to see Dillian versus Chris Arreola. Didn't happen. Instead we get Otto. What's your take on that fight now, and how much of a surprise was it to you to hear that?
Oh, it wasn't a surprise. I really liked that fight. I think Whyte-Wallin's a really good fighter, and he gave Tyson Fury a hell of a run for his money. It's a good fight. It's a really good fight. I can't wait to be there.
And of course, Chisora Parker 2, Parker Chisora 2 announced once again. Rematches, anything can happen. Do you expect to see something different in this one?
You know, I don't know. That's an interesting fight. I think we have to see as it gets closer to the build-up how the guys look, what their mindset is going into it. You know, different people saw the fight in different ways, but you know, it's going to be interesting. I mean, at the heavyweight division, it's the glamour division of the sport, and man, anything can happen. These guys just have big punches, and it's going to be really interesting to see them mix it up again. See if they make adjustments for each other.
Final thing I want to get your thoughts on, David. I'm sure you saw it like the rest of us 2 days ago. Canelo and Canelo-Plant, a little altercation at their face-off. What did you make of it?
Well, I just hope they can still have the fight with Caleb. It looked like Caleb's eye got cut. I hope. I don't know. I haven't, to be honest. I'm really focused on this fight week. Of course, I know about that fight. I know that it's coming up. I did see the push. I saw the punch, and then I saw the combo that ensued. A little scuffle, a little kerfuffle, whatever you want to call it. You know, supposedly Caleb used an expletive with the word mother at the beginning of it. Canelo took it as he said something about his mom. You know, look, this is boxing. Tensions are going to be high. I mean, Caleb's a really tough guy. He's a great fighter, super tough. But Canelo is really at the top of his game. It's going to be hard to see anybody beating him. But anything could happen, and we'll see. Again, I hope that if there is a cut, I'm not sure if there is or not, but I've seen it posted on the internet. And if there is a cut, I hope it heals, and I hope they can have that fight.
Right, David, we'll leave that there now. Leave you to enjoy the rest of your evening and, of course, the rest of his fight week. I appreciate your time. Thank you for speaking to Boxing Social.
Andy, thank you as always, and looking forward to Saturday night.